The committee's got no guts. The committee's got no guts. All they basically do is look at records. Alabama's undefeated. They're 1. And then let's take the 4 one-loss teams, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's take the 2-loss teams, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's take the first 3-loss team, USC. All right, let's put them down. The committee's got no guts. The committee's got no guts. I will give the committee, though, because as I've said before, I'm not paralyzed by records. I'd have Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and like a Washington in. I'd even put USC in, but that's not realistic considering the world we live in now where in college football, 3 losses makes you Purdue. But the point is, the committee did one thing I liked. And the committee would never admit this, but what the committee did was protect their arse last night. The committee didn't move Penn State above 7. That was the big move by the committee. The college football committee came out last night. Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, Washington 4, Michigan 5, Wisconsin 6, Penn State 7. Penn State destroyed Michigan State. Wisconsin struggled with Minnesota. And yet Penn State didn't go ahead of Wisconsin? Woo! Woo! What was the committee saying? The committee is saying that Ohio State doesn't play this week. But even if Penn State rolls Wisconsin, and they won't, I think Wisconsin could win. Even if Penn State rolls Wisconsin, no chance they surpass Ohio State. And I told you this yesterday. There is a big difference between how can a team like Ohio State get to the Final Four and not play in their conference championship. Everybody in the country, including the media, is confusing it doesn't mean anything with it doesn't mean everything. By the way, pregame.com, 11 teams would be favored over Penn State. 11. Vegas has Penn State 12. And as I've said, Ohio State is better than Penn State. Too many of you are putting everything on one head-to-head matchup. Ohio State, I don't care. Now, I've told you, I think Michigan is the best team in the Big Ten. But because of late season losses, they're probably not going to end up in the Final Four. But the country is now paralyzed, and the committee is now paralyzed generally by records. Stop being paralyzed. Penn State has 2 ugly losses this year. Pittsburgh and being routed by Michigan. Ohio State doesn't have any ugly losses. Penn State didn't have a single out-of-conference win that's impressive. Ohio State blew Oklahoma's doors off on the road. Ohio State had more routes than Penn State. They just blew more teams' doors off. And even when Penn State beat Ohio State, Penn State was outgained by 150 yards. Time of possession, almost double in the favor of Ohio State. Penn State couldn't do anything. They were 2 for 13 on third down. Even when they played, just because Ohio State lost, they were clearly Ohio State was the better roster and the better football team. Their special teams killed them. So what I saw from the committee last night, they've got no guts. They just stare at records. I do give them credit. And I'm not sure if it's credit or it's manipulation, but by keeping Penn State at 7, and I think that's fine. And I love the Penn State story this year. Penn State would not be favored over several teams below them. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, USC, all be favored over them. We went to Vegas this morning, looked it up. 11 teams favored. But my lead today is this. This committee has no courage. You can take their top 13. They based it all on record. Anybody could do that. My kids could do that. 0 wins, number 1. 1 win, 1 loss, 2, 3, 4. 2 losses, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In fact, with Oklahoma State, they're so paralyzed, they even count half games. They have Oklahoma at 9-2 and Oklahoma State 9-2 under the 10-2 teams. The committee is paralyzed by it. Can you imagine in the NFL, if you did the college football committee seeding, they'd have the New York Giants as a 3 seed. Kansas City Chiefs. Really? Those teams aren't going to win multiple playoff games. It's incredible to me. Paralyzed by it. We're just paralyzed by it.